It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. White get in the building. How you doing?
I'm fine. I enjoyed the retreat over the weekend.
Have you recovered?
Of course. But it was, I loved the hangout. I loved the dancing. Yeah. My partner, you know, Nima, Miriam, and Ramatu didn't go. So they were saying that they are responsible wives. The rest of them went.
Ramatu really wanted to go. I think it was peer pressure that got her to stay back. Because she was really looking forward to this. I don't know what happened to her that she missed.
I'm sure it must have been Nima.
Nima.
You want to follow them? Don't follow them.
Nima is an influencer.
So that one now stayed. But we had fun.
It was a good experience.
It was really nice.
Yeah. And I kept telling people that this is what 60 years looks like.
Yeah,
like,
so
this is how I want to be.
There's nobody on this
wearing my heels, dancing.
Must not look like.
She has given us a yardstick already, and we are going to tow that part.
Nobody must be one of those that just
sludging around and just.
These days don't sludge.
Yes, so they
yes, they're packaged
up.
New
40s. Yeah, they are looking very.
When you see 60-years now. You know.
I mean, looking at you, you give us inspiration already.
Leave your husband with them. They
you will know.
How you doing, Dami? I'm doing very well. I missed the retreat, and looking through the pictures and the videos, I couldn't help but understand that the only thing that can actually take you out of your passion is family, which I really, really understood last weekend, that family tops everything. Family is priority. I mean, having my baby sick and my partner, and there was nobody to care for them. My house assistant had left. So I was the mommy, I was the nanny, I was the nurse. And they had cough, flu, and I was looking at myself like, if my partner had to say, your gene is strong, go, how you not catch this cough and cat? I say, me, let me just be taking care of you people like this, okay, ma, me by you. But on Sunday, I hosted an event that gave me another dimension to life. I hosted an event with over 1,500 widows, which actually looks to me like that's the biggest gathering of widows I've ever seen in my entire life. Wow. I mean, I still have pains from my leg. I was on the microphone from 12 p.m. till 7 p.m. Wow. It was that huge at LTV. Wow. And I remember that the GM came to us and said, this is the first time that there will be an outreach at LTV that was not going to end in chaos or stampede. We were able to achieve that. So this brought me thinking that, dear men, please take care of yourselves. I mean, if we had a convergence of over 1,500 widows, including young widows, so what's happening to our men? And I also say, women, stop giving the men stress, because you people are the center of every problem. Please, let us make sure that at least we cushion our men.
Very controversial.
Yes, we should cushion our men, at least, please.
Very controversial statement.
Yes, I'm telling you. I really enjoyed the retreat, the bonding session. Everything was amazing. My energy and vibe was on a different level.
We saw you.
Yes, I had so much fun. I'm sure I was the clown of the group, but it's okay. I tried booking, like I told you, booking a massage that Sunday, but I couldn't get a spot. But then yesterday, I used my break time to, of course, go do it. And then I have to book one for both of us.
Please, I need to.
Let me get back to what you said. There was a news going around about a young man dying and everything, VGC and stuff, and I didn't know till I saw the picture and I realized that it was my friend, Kihan. It's so sad, such a promising, young, very handsome man. Yes, it's so painful. I don't understand what's going on this period. Young people in their 40s and early 50s are just having strokes and stuff. So maybe we need to have a health person to tell us more on what to do. You know, because it's so sad. May you so rest in peace.
So rest in peace. I've been hearing quite a few stories like that. So young people, we just have to continually remind ourselves to take care of our bodies and and ensure that we're doing the right things.
And maybe notice the signs. We need to know what the signs are.
Yeah.
Read up the signs of.
I think so.
But those reading up that sign, if you have one small headache and you go online, Google it, what Google will tell you?
What's your problem? They say never Google your symptoms. But it's just to put attention, because I remember that I met a lady who had brain tumor, and she said she constantly kept having headache. And Nigerian hospital were telling her it was malaria until when she went to Benin Republic.
Typhoid. Typhoid and malaria.
Typhoid and malaria. So they kept telling her malaria. She kept using drug, and the headache was persistent until when she went to Benin Republic and they discovered that she had particles of brain tumor and all of that. And that was what led to her surgery. So she believes that a lot of people who just die, you don't know if they have already had different symptoms and they are being treated for something else. So we just need to pay attention.
Okay. Meanwhile, all right, we have to
help us beg Governor Abiodun, rainy season is about to start.
They wanted to kneel down.
I thought they started the road. They started fixing the road. All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review of the paper. We'll start with the review of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Money laundering probe. EFCC swoops on 1,146 bank accounts. We need $100 billion in 10 years to fix electricity, says Minister. Petrol scarcity leaves Nigerians stranded. Edo workers to earn 70,000 naira minimum wage from May. Ayedatiwa gets APC's certificate of return. How I received $600,000 from Emefiele, ex-CBN director tells. And pro-EFCC, pro-Yahaya Bello protesters at agency headquarters. Okay, which story are we starting with? Who has the major headline?
I have the major headline. The money laundering probe, EFCC swoops on 1,146 bank accounts. And this says that the Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an interim order empowering the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to freeze 1,146 bank accounts belonging to individuals and companies. The agency claimed it was investigating them from unauthorized dealing in foreign exchange, money laundering, and terrorism financing. Justice Emeka Nwite issued the order in a ruling on an ex parte motion by EFCC lawyer Ekele Iheanacho. The judge ordered the commission to ensure that its investigation is concluded within 90 days. And Justice Nwite, after listening to Iheanacho, held it is hereby ordered as follows, that the applicant's application is hereby granted as prayed, that an order of this honorable court is hereby made freezing the bank accounts stated in the schedule below, which accounts are owned by various individuals who are currently being investigated in a case involving the offenses of unauthorized dealing in foreign exchange, money laundering, and terrorism financing, to the extent that the investigation will be for a period of 90 days. Of course, he also said that they will be adjourning the case till July 23rd for a report on the findings, and the copy of the enrolled order was made last Wednesday which was made last Wednesday, was also obtained yesterday. Right. So for me, I say this is a good one because a lot of people hide under different means to perpetrate evil. Yeah. Like I still say, we are the government, we are Nigerians, we are the ones creating the major problem for the country itself. So if we begin to check ourselves within, I think it will be a better and safer place for everybody. Okay, let me take the story for Park. It's a major issue. So the minister yesterday was speaking in front of the Senate, was saying that the government requires $100 billion every year for the next 10 years in order to fix what the issues going on with the power sector. According to the minister, while he was summoned by the Senate, he said that for this sector to be revived, government needs to spend $10 billion annually for the next 10 years. This is because of the infrastructure requirements that is for the sector, but government cannot afford that, and so we must get and attract investors. And investors will not come if we don't have the right commercial pricing for this product. So currently, at the rate of 66 naira per liter for the electricity, he says that it's not going to attract enough investors to see it as a commercially viable investment for them. So the only way we can do right now is to increase it to that 225 naira per kilowatt for government to have the investors coming in. So they were going back and forth. They were insisting that he has to reverse the price hike, but that was what he's insisting on. So we'll see how that goes going forward.
Okay, so let me take the first casting issue because it's on everybody's mind right now nationwide. Queues lengthened yesterday at petrol stations in some parts of Lagos State as motorists battled to fill their vehicle tanks. Many residents, especially pupils, their parents, workers and traders, were caught in the web with fewer commercial buses on the roads. Also, roads where they had filling stations, they suffered gridlocks and caused lots of traffic. There was so much traffic, especially on Awolowo Road yesterday. It was also reported by NNPCL Chief Communications Officer, Mr. Olufemi, and Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria National President, Mr. Abubakar. they spoke on Sunday and told the nation that logistics problem was actually the cause for the scarcity. They also said that that though the lifting of petrol by marketers from depot had commenced, it would take a maximum of at least 5 days for normalcy to take place, and that people should not do what they call like desperate buying of petroleum, that they should take this, that it's going to flow. Also in Abuja still witnessing another fuel scarcity problem yesterday. They had that issue like a week ago, and things had eased to normalcy. But then yesterday, there was fuel scarcity again in Abuja. Also, the surveillance teams have been deployed in Osun State, in Osun-Kwara, where the governor had set up a team to go and check off filling stations to make sure that there's no hoarding taking place.
Yeah.
Yes, and that he wants his people to enjoy the dividends of democracy.
Right.
Akwa Ibom State right now does not have any issue of fuel scarcity. Yes, so kudos to that state. And then they've also ensured that even though there's fuel scarcity, the NNPC is selling at the normal price. Yes, although some other filling stations that are selling have increased it from 720 to like 750. So far.
So there'll be fuel eventually. We just don't have this panic buying. That's why you have a
So Anikeja Special Offences Court had yesterday gone on this former central bank, a former central bank director was cross-examined by the defendants because he said he received $600,000 from 2 contracts on behalf of the central Emefiele. First of all, the defendant lawyer had said the court didn't have the jurisdiction to try Emefiele, so he had put that one in, and the judge has put it to next week, to rule on it next week on that, whether they have the jurisdiction or not. But then this former deputy director says he received $400,000 in the first envelope. And he wasn't answerable to Emefiele. So that's why I don't understand his story. He wasn't answerable to Emefiele. He was answerable to the former deputy director, Adebayo Adelabu, who is now a minister for power. That was his direct boss. But they brought the envelope of $400,000 to his house in Lekki. So I don't know how, who he gave that $400,000 to.
And how he's connected to Emefiele somehow.
And how he's connected to Emefiele, because he says that he was not directly reporting to.
Okay. We'll see how that goes.
He said he admitted sending his home address and his phone number to the person named Adetono that brought the envelope to him through his WhatsApp platform.
$400,000 just flowing around.
Just like that.
Somewhere in this
we are looking for money.
That is why the dollar is rising. When they're spending dollars in a naira economy.
The Punch. Petrol hits 800 naira as 250 million litre vessel arrives. Picture story here. Tinubu will end economic sabotage. Shetima tells African leaders. Nurse accuses Lagos hospital of negligence over wife and son's death. 1.4 million UTME candidates scored below 200, says JAM. Customers panic as CBN bans OPay, PalmPay, others new accounts. Edo workers hail Obaseki over the 70,000 minimum wage. $2.4 billion Forex claims fictitious, says CBN. And FG begins fresh bid around rounds for all books. Okay, I think that's for Punch. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we review Punch. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so which story we're starting in Punch, Dami?
I have the Edo workers hail Obaseki over the 70,000 naira minimum wage.
I thought it was fake news.
No, but he made the announcement himself because this one says that the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki on Monday increased the minimum wage for workers in the state from 40,000 to 70,000 naira, citing the economic situation in the country. Obaseki announced this at the inauguration of the newly built ultramodern Labour House Secretariat Complex on Temboga Road, Ipoba Hill, Benin City. The building was named after a former governor of the state and an ex-president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Adams Oshiomhole. Speaking at the event, Governor Obaseki said, "For us in Edo State, we have decided to move the minimum wage from 40,000 to 70,000, effective from May 1st, 2024, which is the Workers' Day announcement." That's so good. And he says the announcement immediately sparked celebrations amongst the workers as the chairman of the Edo State chapter of the NLC, Odion Olaye, commended the governor for being workers-friendly since he assumed office. He says, "I personally commend the efforts of the governor for increasing the minimum wage from 40,000 to 70,000, and this will help the workers a great deal."
Fantastic.
And it's very beautiful. I hope that other governors too, at least they can cite the economic situation.
I watched it, and if you see how they shouted,
It was the applause.
the workers, they...
I mean, is that the lowest, the last bottom of the minimum, you get 70,000 naira.
Yes.
But they asked him, someone asked him, I watched him, that's how your next person coming in, how is he going to maintain? Is the economy...
The successor.
Yeah, his successor, thank you.
Yes, going to...
Can it survive that? Will he be able to sustain it? And that's a very key question.
To ask.
That's why he's hoping that he's supporting the Ighodalo, because I'm sure there's a plan now to ensure the succession plan. That's why he's supporting the Ighodalo to come in after him. Let me take the picture story. So Vice President Kazim Shettima on Monday said our president was working to the end to end the reign of economic saboteurs who had been hindering the progress of the nation. He was saying this at the African heads of state and government at the 21st replenishment of the International Development Association in Nairobi, Kenya. He specifically said that, while representing, he said that Nigeria's aspirations had transcended merely birthing unicorns to becoming a global hub for outsourcing talent within the digital and creative economy. He has said the country would achieve this by harnessing potential of the youthful population. Shettima believes strongly that the path to recovery, according to him, Nigeria's journey beyond sabotage. Shettima reiterated Nigeria's plans to build a vast digital market and that is capable of absorbing cutting-edge innovations and technology. So I'm really happy that he's actually talking, because Nigeria is a giant of Africa. So when you are speaking in a room full of African leaders, and you're giving them the plans of Nigeria's economic plans, hopefully to inspire hope and to ensure that, listen, Nigeria is taking the right decision the right way, and they should also follow suit. So I'm happy about that. End of the story.
Yeah, so this, okay. You want to go
ahead. Human interest story.
Okay,
go ahead.
Yeah. A registered nurse, Prince Oshiomhole, has accused the private hospital in Lagos State, R. Jolad Hospital, Agege, for negligence. And apparently his wife was admitted into hospital. She was pregnant, and he says that she started her antenatal there, and then so now it was time to deliver, but she bled to death. That they said a very sad story. He said at midnight, the doctor said he wanted to induce her, and he was saying, "Do you want to induce her at midnight?" He said, yes, this is their procedure. So he said, okay, since it's your procedure, they now started to induce her. Then they were not going to give her a C-section, but then suddenly he says that they have to give her a C-section, and they gave her misoprostol, and they said her cervix was ripped, and oxytocin, and anyway, her cervix got ruptured. She bled to death. Her uterus, not her cervix, and she bled to death. And so
it's good to hear from the hospital to know exactly what happened.
It would be good to hear from the hospital.
This is really sad.
He said they claimed they were not aware that his wife was bleeding until she collapsed. Wow. And when she collapsed and was gasping for air, low blood pressure, comprised with severely compromised vital signs. She needed active resuscitation. They were not able to do it. They didn't have the equipment to do it. So if you don't have the equipment to do it, why are you doing the surgery?
So, well, I mean, again, I would like to hear from do a thorough investigation, and I hope he has also gone to the Nigerian Medical Association to also report this, because we don't want to have a media trial. I want to ensure that let us investigate and
baby died.
It's really sad, and I hope that the police can get involved and do a proper investigation so that this man can get justice. This is totally unfair. Okay,
so this directive coincides with the court order of the EFCC to freeze some accounts. So customers panic as CBN bans OPay, PAMPay, and other new accounts. And I always tell people, with bank that you cannot walk in and go and catch or hold anybody or complain. Don't leave your money there. Let the thing just be, if you just enter, take it out.
What did the paper say?
Hey, because this one touched me. Some bank customers have expressed panic as the Central Bank of Nigeria bans mobile money operators, including fintech companies, from onboarding new customers. However, the Bank Customers Association of Nigeria backed the CBN directive. The new directive will affect fintech companies such as OPay, PAMPay, Kuda Bank, and Money Points from opening new accounts until further notice. They said the CBN's move was linked to an ongoing audit of the Know Your Customer process of the fintechs, which has been under scrutiny in recent months over concerns around money laundering and terrorism financing. Yes.
So it's not saying like it's bad. It's just an investigation.
Yes, no, there's an audit. There's an investigation. Yes, there's an audit going on.
Yeah, so
just to be safe.
Hold off. Don't open your account.
Don't open your account.
Because to speak for the fintechs, you see these banks, the banks that we can actually walk in. You walk in, they don't answer you.
Yeah.
Your money will enter through POS. You won't see alerts.
The charges.
There is one that bank that is like this. My money that they have top. Hey.
So let's not cause panic out there. It's an investigation. Many people have actually found these fintech companies more reliable.
At least when you make payments, you get the alert immediately.
But I also think that if you are not, if you do not have thick skin, please take out your money in case, so that you not start hearing news on the streets and you're panicking that what's going to happen to my money. So you can put your money where it's safer for you, so that you don't have panic attacks.
The one that you put it, they will not even tell you put it.
They just be grounds like Lagos, Abuja, others. Enough is enough, Governor Mba vows as he storms Nimbo over a killing of 4 people. Forex crisis court okays EFCC's request to seize over 1,100 accounts. Finidi George emerges Super Eagles coach. JAMB releases UTME results. Tinubu reiterates Nigeria's plans to build digital market. Kano panel begins probe of Ganduje's administration. Emefiele challenges jurisdiction of Lagos courts to try him. And EFCC disperses pro-Yahaya Bello's protesters. Okay, which story in Daily Sun very quickly?
Okay, do you want to start?
No.
I have the one for JAMB.
Okay.
And, of course, this one says that JAMB releases 2024 UTME results, 64,624 results under investigation. And this says that the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has released the result of candidates who participated in the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, with 64,624 results under investigation. The board registrar, Professor Ishiak Oloyede, disclosed this at a news conference in Buhari yesterday. Oloyede said that 1,989,668 candidates registered for the examinations held in 118 towns in 774 computer-based test centers. According to the registrar, out of the registered candidates, 1,904,109 sat for the examination, while 80,810 were absent. He also explained that 64,624 results were under investigation for various reasons, such as verification, procedural investigations, and prima facie established exam misconduct. He also said that the results under investigation were center-based investigation involving 57,056 candidates in 18 centers across board. And I also saw that from this news we had about a few people who actually were above score, and this one says that barely 50%. Barely 50% actually scored, barely 20% actually scored below, this is above 300, while 24% scored 50%, and about 76% scored below 200.
Wow.
So I know that about 1.94 million people sat for the exam, and because some results are not still out yet, we also implore candidates who are affected that they should not be deterred and they should wait for the right time for them to. And one thing that also caught my interest was that out of the total registration, 3,164 were persons living with disability, which is also a good fit for us to say that, okay, persons living with disabilities too are coming out to write examinations to proceed in their education.
Let me tell you the story of Governor Mba. He was really angry yesterday when he went to Nimbo community where 4 people were killed. He went there to visit, obviously, to see the family and commiserate with them, but specifically was really talking tough, and I really like the fact that the governor of Edo State was really speaking, that we had that posture. So let me assure you that enough is enough. I don't think we would allow our hospitality to be taken for granted. We expect people who have come to mingle with us to obey the rules and law of the land. I don't think we really do have any reason to be governments if we cannot guarantee the safety of our people, because the primary purpose of government obviously is the security and welfare of the people. So a situation where our people will go to bed without sleeping with their 2 eyes is not acceptable. I want to assure you that we're going to deploy everything within our powers, and I mean everything, the law, the forces, everything that is necessary in order for us to ensure and guarantee security in our state. So this is Nimbo communities in the border of Edo State, and they thought maybe because they were in the borderlines, that's why they didn't have enough security security operatives to protect them. So he went there to reassure them that it's not that, it's going to ensure that safety of the people. So I'm really happy that he was able to do that himself.
So officials of the EFCC dispersed some Yaya Bello pro Yaya Bello protesters. Apparently they went they call themselves the Kogi Youth. There's a name, the Kogi Youth Coalition. They went there and the EFCC chased them away. There were 2 protests, apparently. One that was pro-EFCC and anti-EFCC. So they chased away the pro-EFCC, pro-Yaya Bello away. And the pro-Yaya Bello were complaining. They said that they expressed their disappointment. They were not allowed to protest, and so on and so forth.
Okay, interesting. Then we have Yaya Bello guests today. But the final paper, Vanguard, let's find a story. Terrorism financing, court chides FG over shoddy prosecution of Tukur Mamu. DSTV GoTV rate hike. Tribunal stops multi-choice. $10 billion required annually to fix power, says federal government. Illegal forex trading, court OK's FCC's request to freeze over 1,100 bank accounts. Okay, which story?
Let's take the DSTV and multi-choice one, because with the economy now, nobody wants decrease in anything.
Then don't be there. What's wrong with them?
Yes.
What's the story?
The Competition and Consumer Protection CCP Tribunal sitting in Abuja yesterday restrained multi-choice Nigeria Limited from going ahead with its plans to increase tariffs and cost of its products and services on May 1st. The restraining order followed an ex parte motion brought before the tribunal by a legal practitioner. And then it was also said that they specifically applied for an order restraining the first defendant from taking any steps that may negatively affect the rights of the claimant and other consumers in respect of the suit pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. It was also said that in its ruling, after it had listened to the applicant, the 3-member tribunal led by Siratu Shafi granted the interim orders as prayed. The tribunal restrained multi-choice from proceeding with its scheduled price increase pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice filed before it. So for now, they can't do anything. They can't increase. Yeah, they can't increase until.
I have a problem with that because nobody has asked them what it cost them to run. Diesel is expensive. Everything is expensive. You know, so the businesses are suffering.
But it's a huge.
It's a two-way street. I know someone who is not happy with DSTV. So what does he do? He has left them. He has gone to another platform.
That's all we can take on paper review. When we come back, we'll bring in our first guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Our first guest is a seasoned telecommunications engineer with nearly 2 decades of experience spanning diverse functions across the private and public sectors. She's also a committed humanitarian and social entrepreneurship advocate who dedicated her time and resources to fostering digital inclusion by bridging access gaps for digital and vulnerable youths. She's currently the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President on Entrepreneurship Development in Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy. Welcome with us, Engineer Jennifer Adigije in the building. We love women engineers,
Thank you very much.
Come in.
We're special.
Yeah. So before we go into your job and role as SSA to the president, we know your love for entrepreneurship. Tell us a bit about that journey. How did you get into that space?
Basically, from a very young age, I developed a passion for entrepreneurship. So, of course, when I returned to Nigeria, of course, I couldn't start it immediately because my parents were not going to hear that. So, I got a job as a telecoms engineer, and I did that for a couple of years. And then I think I had just learned enough of that. And then I just decided to explore entrepreneurship. So I did, I've done almost every business. I started by selling fabrics, I did tailoring, I did food, I had a bakery, I did interior design, I did construction, you name it. Wow. And then, and the reason why I went into it head on was because I didn't want to learn entrepreneurship by the books. I wanted to learn it from experience. Because my lifelong commitment is to mentor upcoming entrepreneurs. And that's my own way of giving back and my sense of social responsibility for the young, upcoming men and women entrepreneurs.
Okay, so I'd like to know, from your expanse of knowledge, how would you rate the entrepreneurship sector as a whole in Nigeria? Youth who are entrepreneurs now, adults, how do you scale it? Are they doing well enough? Or we still have long ground to cover?
Certainly, we do have a long ground to cover, but we're not where we want to be yet, but we're not where we used to be. And I'll tell you why, because Mr. President is very committed to entrepreneurship development. And if you look critically at Mr. President's 8-point agenda, you would see that he places a priority on empowering entrepreneurship. Now, Mr. President's 8-point agenda, number 1 is food security. Number 2, poverty alleviation. Number 3 is growing the economy. And then number 4, which to me is the most critical, is access to financing for businesses. And so that tells you the heart of Mr. President for the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And the reason is not far-fetched, right? Because the statistics tell us that about 55% of our GDP is contributed by this sector. The statistics also tell us from the MBS that 70 to 80% of our productive workforce are employed by this sector. And so and also Smedan tells us that about 30 million business enterprises in Nigeria. So this is one sector that their outputs, their productivity speaks directly to wealth creation, job creation, and poverty alleviation. And so it's a no-brainer for the government to invest in empowering our entrepreneurs to be more productive, which is why we're being very intentional about providing access to financing. And it's not just access to financing, but how affordable is the financing. And Mr. President has pledged a lot of resources into empowering small businesses with financing. I'm sure you must have heard about the 200 billion that he has earmarked for fostering that ecosystem. 75 billion will go to the large enterprises, another 75 billion will go to small enterprises, and then another 50 billion, which they've already started to disburse as the federal government conditional grant scheme. A lot of Nigerians are already receiving and confirming that they've been beneficiaries of that.
I'll come back to you, because when you said something, it struck my mind. I remember Jonathan's time. They did something called U-Wing. Yeah. They get a lot of young people money, and many of them didn't use it for the work, for the business. Some of them, we got some data back there that some of them just used it to travel. Some of them so they couldn't monitor how effective it was in their businesses. Secondly, this government tried to do trader money to helping big existing businesses, support them. So people always argue that, is it by throwing money, giving them money that's going to help these businesses? Does that really work, do you think?
We still have a role to play in sensitization. in advocacy, and which is why my office is driving a new wave of advocacy, you know, and which is why, as you know, I have a program tomorrow, and it's an inclusive stakeholder engagement series. And in those series, the segment is actually, the program is divided into 3 segments. So the first segment, we hold discussions around subjects that speak to their most critical needs. And then the second segment is where we have the government stakeholders, you know, like the MD of Bank of Industry will be there, the DG of SMIDA will be there to talk to them about the programs that are available and the opportunities that they can unlock for their businesses. And then the final segment of the program is a capacity building program where we teach them digital literacy skills, financial literacy skills, and even effective management skills. So we have a role to play in ensuring that, you know, that the investments that we make are utilized for the purpose for which they were intended.
Okay, so yes, we keep talking about financing, or the budget that's been allocated. How would this money be, you know, be assessed by people, especially the young woman or the old woman in Obomosho, in one village as an entrepreneur? How would the person know that, okay, this is available to me? How would the person have access to this? What are the monitoring structures that have been put in place to make sure that when the woman has access to this, that she actually uses it for that and not to go and pay her children's school fees instead of using it for the business? What are the structures in place for disbursing of these funds?
Yeah, I'm sure you know the agencies primarily responsible for disbursing this funds. Certainly not my office. You know, the BOI is there, the SMIDAN is there, and I know that they do have structures in place to ensure that there's monitoring and evaluation and to ensure that the programs are done the way they ought to be done. You know, like I said, on my own part, I'm compelled to do the advocacy. So I'm just on the front end, ensuring that, I mean, I took it upon myself, you know, just to create that handshake. And I think it's a very good takeoff point. It's a very good takeoff point for our small business owners to even first know what is available, and how do we have access to it. I think that's a good starting point. And that's what we're doing, and that's where we are.
I just wanted to say as an aside, make sure you're not the one disbursing funds, because EFCC.
No, it's not in my duty. I don't have the
I know that. When I heard that, I was very happy for you.
I
like the advocacy part. I'll come back to you, because the truth is that people don't have information, and they feel like the young people are online doing a lot of stuff, but there's so much more that they can actually, there's so much potential in what they're doing, but they don't have a clue. But how simplified is this advocacy? Because people don't have time for, conferences are nice. They're really great to put everybody in a room and have speeches, but it's just speeches again. The kids just like, the young guys just look at it, okay, yeah. But sometimes when you put them into short little thing, either those entertainment information, those nice little animated things, you know, those things, they drill in better, where people get the message. But so what other avenues are you using to advocate or to get people to have this information?
And just to help her to continue, I've noticed a lot of young people, they are so innovative. They are doing, I mean, I went somewhere the other day, they were doing akara crisps. I've never heard of it. They think of all these things, it's just so, I find them so amazing. These young people, what they're coming up with, the kind of things they're coming up with.
I totally agree with you. And it's in Nigeria, we have the youngest and fastest growing population, youthful population in Africa. And in fact, the prediction is that, the forecast is that by 2050, 1 out of 4 black people in the world will be Nigerian. So which is why we're very committed to providing enablers for our young people. And we do understand that our young people are the dominant players in the digital ecosystem. So which is why, yes, we have digital tools out there. We use social media for this advocacy. And in fact, there are even special programs for entrepreneurs with innovation and digital leanings. I'm sure you must have heard about the IDICE program. The IDICE program, which is championed by the Office of the Vice President and will be rolled out very soon. That will be another program through which our young, vibrant youths can unlock opportunities to grow their digital skill sets. The truth is that we don't want your skill sets to just end up within your immediate environment. We want you to be able to take the opportunities we're giving you, develop and nurture those talents to the point of commercialization. The ultimate goal is to get your talents to end up in the marketplace where it can unlock value and attract foreign capital and foreign investment and even local investment here in Nigeria. That's our own homegrown solution to growing the digital economy. And it will be powered and enabled by our young digital natives.
So what are we to expect tomorrow? Who is speaking? And yes, what's the venue for those that want to attend?
So like I said, it's an MSME stakeholders engagement series for women-led businesses. Of course, the men can watch virtually, and we had to just restrict. We had to limit it because we have space constraints. So it's going to be at Echo Hotel, Echo Convention Center tomorrow at 2 p.m. And it promises to be very empowering. We already had one in Abuja. And like I said, it's a national program which I'm taking to the 36 states of the country. And then the feedback we got from the first one in Abuja was amazing. You know, a lot of them have been able to now arm themselves with the right information. They know where to go to for funding, private sector funding or even public sector funding. Because even the private sector, there is access to funding. I know that Sterling Bank has, you know, single-digit loans for women entrepreneurs. I think Women Bank has a similar program as well. And I have a colleague in the Office of the Vice President, Mr. Tola Johnson. His work is primarily to ensure that he's able to unlock these kind of low interest facilities for our small business owners. So it's a platform that is very informative and very empowering, and it's set to propel next level productivity in the MSME ecosystem.
I like what I'm hearing, and I like that we jump in a second, because a lot of young people feel incapacitated because they don't have information. And the information is available, they just don't know where to find it. So tomorrow's event, hopefully, will answer a lot of questions for young businesses who are trying to scale, who are building, trying to grow their business, get to the next level. Because you can be selling these akara chips with your friends and family in school, but the truth is that you can actually take it to a different level where you can supply in schools, you're supplying, you're taking to West Africa. There's so many things available you can do. So if you really want to scale your business, I think it's an opportunity.
No, it is a very good opportunity because, I mean, it goes beyond access to financing. Although I will tell you that the most critical need for any average small business owner in Nigeria, they will tell you, is access to financing. But beyond that, the conversation transcends that. We talk about cutting-edge strategies, we talk about market penetration, we talk about how to gain competitive advantage. And so we have speakers who are industry players who have, you know, taken their businesses from early stages to multi-million-dollar businesses. Like Banke Meshida Lawal, we all know how she started from humble beginnings, and she's been consistent at it. Funke Bokno-Obruthe will also be there. Nelly of Niger Brand Chic would also be there. Ejiro Amos Tafiri in the fashion industry will be there. So the speakers cut across, you know, different sectors, and they're people that the women, you know, who have vulnerable businesses, you know, can relate, and the conversations will resonate, and you know, they'll be motivated and inspired to move up and step up to the next level.
I was just going to ask, because after Amaka's question, you didn't mention if there was any financial implication or cost implication to attending the conference here on air. You've not mentioned.
It's free. I think she mentioned that it was free. It's free to attend.
It's free to attend.
Yes, it's
for
free
every
to
class
attend.
of persons.
For any woman, as long as you're a woman, it's free to attend. Yes. And then we had already posted the registration link online, but then the registration is just for planning, so that we have an idea of, you know, the crowd we're expecting.
For men in the future, because everything's always women.
But then, okay, let me set the business case for this, is that the statistics also show that 65% of small businesses are women-led.
Okay.
So the women are actually the larger demographic in that space.
That makes sense.
So thank you so much.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, are you sisters?
So people
Yes,
keep
we
saying
are.
that. Yes, we are.
Soul sisters.
Soul sisters. Yes.
They look so much alike.
Everybody
So
says
much
that.
alike.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I think maybe after now we can make some findings from
Yeah,
You'll be surprised, though.
Maybe I should,
Long lost
I should just get a permanent seat here. I can be next to my sister.
All right, that's all we can take. Thank you so much. We're speaking with the SSA, to the President Entrepreneurship, Development in Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Jennifer Adigije. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you so much.
Let's go on a break now. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's a video of Senator Adams Oshiomhole that has been generating quite a bit of mixed reactions amongst Nigerians. In the video, the senator representing the Edo North Senatorial District speaks on EFCC versus Yahaya Bello, the same-sex marriage issues, religion, and poverty in Nigeria. According to him, there's a need for citizens to speak up against breaches of the law, regardless of individuals involved. Watch this clip for those of you that haven't seen it.
Because I'm in the Senate, I like to listen and hear what people say. On the floor of the Senate, when people were talking of Northern senators, Southern senators, Eastern senators, and Western senators, I am on record, I say that I am just a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am not saying it here, I said it when it matters, on the floor of the Nigeria Senate. Number two, I did hard calls to speak about a month ago that he tried to understand our security challenges that we face. We must locate the details of the failure of political leadership, and I mean political leadership, including potential politicians here, who have resources to do all of those things that are convenient for them so to do, but refuse, they lack the will to make what I consider to be the most important investment, namely to resolve that never should a child be born in this country and deny the access to go to school. And we must not make laws that we don't have the political will to enforce, and identify the Universal Basic Education Law, under which every child ought to go to school, and if a family or a parent denies the child the right to go to school, there are penalties. How come no parents have been brought to before any magistrate court or alkali court or customary court and is charged for that offense? And I said, as a former governor, I was a member of the National Economic Council, where state governors, some state governors, I must emphasize some, argue that they do not have the resources to pay 50% subsidy in order to ensure that the children of the poor go to school, even where those governors are sending their own children abroad.
Senator Adams Oshiomhole giving us the vibes of when he was a comrade. You know, we've not seen this energy since in a long time when he was a comrade. I was reading some comments on social media. Somebody said that I'm glad to see that Oshiomhole finally found his voice again. He was very vocal as NLC president. He lost his voice when he became governor, became an introvert for 8 years. He's now born again activist. When government happens to you, because if you want to chop, you cannot talk. If you are chopping, you cannot talk.
You have to pick one side.
You have to pick one side. Now that he's now vocal, but that's just an aside. But the point is that obviously he's trending because he said quite a few things, and one of the things that struck me was one of the things I always talk on this, mention on this table, the issue of UBEC. Most state governors are expected to pay 50% of the counterpart funding. So the federal government will give you 50%. You're supposed to match it up with another 50% so that basic education can be accessible in your various states. And he said that some governors are saying they can't afford it. In fact, I read a report a few weeks ago here, 27 states are unable to access UBEC funds. What? For basic education. 27. So that's part of what he's saying. 27 states. That's everybody that access this money. So UBEC is even crying that, please, this money is here. Come and take it now. Because they don't have the 50% to match. So that's just one aside. He mentioned a few other things, but what are your own general thoughts on the video? Let me start with you, Dami. You're on the video.
I think that the first thing I like that he said is that he was first a senator before discrimination, the way we call it. And I also say that I'm first a Nigerian before I knew that I was from the Yoruba tribe. So when things happen to people, first of all, put yourself in the position of whoever. If it happens to me, what if? I like the context of mentioning names. But in Nigeria, you know that when you mention names, there are also repercussions. So most people are scared of the repercussions of mentioning names. It's as if nobody cannot do ayagbangba, like we say. Everybody could have a loud mouth. Everybody could bail the cat. But like the question, who will bail the cat? It says, the popular saying that freedom of speech is a constitutional right, but your freedom after the speech is what nobody can really guarantee. So I like the fact that, of course, he indicted religious bodies too, because I always say people don't like the truth. People don't even want to hear the truth from our religious bodies. A lot of people have run under the umbrella of religion to perpetrate different things. And the religious bodies, I'm not saying any religion now, they create this umbrella of sanctuary. Like, oh, yes, you are our member. Oh, you've come under grace. Oh, he has pleaded for forgiveness. God has forgiven you. If God has forgiven you, it does not mean that you will not still be punished for whatever you have done. I mean, all of the things he mentioned, I watched the video last night, and I started putting down in context, from the context of mentioning names to religion, to even the same-sex marriage.
Yeah, he mentioned. What did he talk about that?
For me, same-sex marriage, I wrote it here, and I will just read it the way I wrote it. I said, we are a people of culture, and we are heavy on cultural values. Hence, the people who want to engage in such activities can seek refuge in a place where they can be openly accommodated and accepted, rather than trying to pollute the cultural values we are trying so much to work on, to preserve. That's what I said. The case of the recently cross-dresser, I said it, he shouldn't be here. There are a lot of countries, a lot of states, a lot of nations that would accept you the way you are. If you say you want to be cross-dressing, or you want to transgender, you want to go from this garden to that garden, either Garden of Eden to Garden of anywhere you want to go, just go to where you are being accepted. Okay. So it doesn't feel like we are victimizing you, we don't want to accept you. We are invested on culture. I'm training, I can't imagine my boys asking me, oh, mommy, why does a man have to wear wigs? How do I even begin to explain? Yeah. So if you know that you want to do it, some of us are not, anywhere belle face nice, some of us, but if you want to do it, so that the majority, it doesn't seem like the majority are against you, go to a country where you are accepted holistically. That's my
Let me come to you, Amaka. So Senator Oshiomhole is talking. What are your thoughts on the video?
Okay, so first, I like what he said. I applaud him now that he's a vocal, he's a vocal senator. That's good. He has found his voice. Kudos to him. I like the fact that he said, as a country, as a nation, we shouldn't make laws that we do not have the will to enforce. If you want to make a law, I have the will to enforce it. So kudos to him on that. Then secondly, I picked what he talked about, hiding under religious bodies, and then you just feel that poverty will automatically be elevated. And when you go to church or the mosque, automatically you're covered. No, there has to be action behind it. You have to work. You know, the pastors are brainwashing people and coming under that guise. I really second that. And really, under religious bodies, people are brainwashing people and using that as a disguise to also perpetrate crimes. So we should watch that. So I picked those two things, you know, that he said, yeah.
Mike, what are your own initial thoughts before we dig into?
My own initial thoughts is when I watched it, even though he was speaking
what Nigerians want to hear,
the truth or some truth, I was wondering, Shebi, you were governor for 8 years. What did you do when you were governor for 8 years? I bet there are no uneducated children in Edo State. And did you put all the children in school in Edo State? How come it is now that you are
speaking
a senator? You are now saying, and you are expecting me to hail you. I can't hail you. I'm sorry. What I can say is return to Edo State. Go and make sure those things that you have said here are implemented from there.
Yes.
Charity
begins at home. Exactly.
That's all.
We'll come back to what he did, because part of what we're putting together is let us review his. But I think also what is also crucial for me in that video is I think it was talking I mentioned it yesterday. Where we are as a nation now, we need more vocal leaders. Absolutely. We need more people speaking up. Yes, would have liked him probably to be more vocal back then, but the truth is that a few things he's saying and highlighting, which is good to see another APC chieftain saying it, that one of his colleagues or his former colleagues who used to be a governor doesn't have the immunity, and a sitting governor is protected. I mean, when you run from the law, you're a fugitive. That's the definition of a fugitive. So a sitting governor is protecting his fugitive. That in itself it doesn't make any sense. So we need more people coming out openly to say, the Nigerians need to see that, because I did talk about, said that yesterday when we were talking about a different topic, and she was trying to say, because of where we are as a nation, we just need leaders to speak up and show that, listen, we're not aligned to this illegality. We are not in agreement with this behavior or the former governor of Kogi State and all that. So that for me was crucial, was critical, and I think that's what I took from that video.
What I can say, he's a senator now, so he's where they make the laws. He can start with a bill.
Effect changes.
Yes, no more immunity for governors. Start it.
Yes.
Just
like Mariah said.
It should be difficult, but at least you have started it. We will see that you have started it.
I remember when Senator Samadi, there were a couple of sessions in the House then when he was a senator too, that he kept on vigorously lamenting, telling them, I think it was bordered on insecurity as at that time, that this thing is right in our faces. They can kidnap anybody. That video is playing in my head like this. They can kidnap anybody at any time, but if we say we need more vocal leaders, we can only talk. Where is the action coming from? We need a certain percentage of people to move into, swing into action. But if these people are docile, a lot of them are lackadaisical, that, so far I can feed my family, so far I'm comfortable within my own perimeters, why should I bother? So it now feels like those ones who are agitating for the progress, they are just talking. After they talk, they will keep quiet. We'll still come back to share the same money that we want to use to better the future of these Nigerians. So I still think that the number of the people who are speaking up is not up to. Now, those ones who are still speaking up, have they been heard? Have these words, have they been implemented? What has been done so far? Because it's easy also to speak action. Like our last guest who left, and you mentioned that, okay, we've always had conferences and conferences. If it's not conference, it's summit, it's symposium. We shall look for big grammar to name it. When will the action, the correct, authentic action, when will it start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so let me go back to the word immunity. So where are the checks and balances? So if he's harboring, if a governor, a current sitting governor, is harboring a fugitive, then it makes me worried and concerned. What other things are going on behind the scenes for people that actually have this immunity? This one, it's open. It's in the open. It's glaring. What are the other things that are behind the scenes that we don't know?
Let me go on a short break. When we come back, we're going to try to dig further into what this our senator is saying and what he has done also in the past, just to align. Let's just marry both. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the video that is trending concerning Senator Adams Oshiomhole. And people were talking about the fact that they said Bishop Kuka didn't invite him. He kind of just said that. He went there for himself. He said, you didn't invite me. But we decided to stick to what exactly he said, because many have said that there was a lot of truths in it on the part of the church, which I understand. You see, I get the argument concerning the church, saying that you're saying that Jesus Christ, once you give your life to Christ, everything works out. There was a period where that was totally and completely all Nigerians needed to hear to buy hope, or to give some kind of succor to what we're going through. Yes, we can say enlightenment, development, exposures here and there have helped us to see things better in different ways. But there was a time in the 80s, in the 90s, when religion was really coming on into this country. That was the message of hope that Nigerians needed. That was the anchor many Nigerians could hold on to develop and build themselves and hope for a better future. So now that, yes, maybe because of exposure now, we're saying, it's not the only way. The other ways, you have to focus on you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to focus on your business, you have to use certain tools. Yes, we get that. But you can never take away from the spiritual necessity required for you to develop that. We can't underscore that in any way. That's my own opinion.
I think that these 70s and 80s that you mentioned, we were very diligent with religion. Even religion was diligent with itself. Because in the 90s and in the 20s now, we're already hearing news that they are perpetrating money laundering through religious bodies. There's been a lot of accusing fingers on these religious bodies. We grew up in churches, we go to Sunday school, we go to choir practice and all of that. And I always say, I remember a video 2 years back, I think about 2 years back, the video went viral where a woman was conducting a naming ceremony for a child, I think in Ibadan. And if anybody remembers that video, and she was particularly putting a biro in the hand of that child and saying, this is a biro, this is a pen. You will use it to, what was that? You will use this pen to embezzle money. Yeah? Yes, that video was, I remember that I was with one of the TV stations that we actually talked about that video. I'll find it somewhere and I think I'll share with you. There was a video of a woman who was conducting a naming ceremony in Ibadan. She was dressed in a lace kind of outfit. And she was telling, she gave a biro to the baby. And she was saying that this biro, the big people of this country, they use it to embezzle money. You use it to embezzle money. And it starts from there. Because I do not think that there was a sanction carried out on that particular woman for her to come and explain what she means. And how would you even engage a baby of 7 days old? You're already forecasting evil on this child. That's what I see it as. So we need to check. Let me take Blessing. Blessing, confess like you're live. Oh, I'm so sorry for keeping you. Talking about what Oshiomhole did, I mean, there are a few things here. Said in education, Obaseki, okay, this is Obaseki, not even Oshiomhole. But I'm trying to look for some of the, just to answer your question, what did he do? I'm trying to go on education especially. Yeah. But going back to these comments he made, because it's really gaining quite a bit of traction on social media. Let me come to you, YK.
No, I have something here where he had an explosive encounter with a widow. And it was recorded. We probably can't find that video, or we'll have to look for it, where he told the widow to go and die.
Well, that was, I remember.
I remember. His famous explosive encounter with the widow on a major Benin street, which went viral, telling her to go and die, leading to his having to issue a public apology.
Yes, I remember that. That was many years ago.
Business. So the person who wrote it is also saying, Oshiomhole appeared to work hard as a governor, particularly when there were television cameras present, but it's unclear what he did when they were not. The idea of lifting entire communities or entire peoples out of poverty, indeed, the idea of commitment to a principle did not appear to attract him.
Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up with Oshiomhole, with Oshiomhole very soon. Let me just take your last final.
Okay, like from what I saw, because I'm trying to dig deep, because of the education thing. Because if you actually set a precedent in a state, I want to believe that your predecessors should have continued with that. And like YK asked, are they uneducated people in the state, and are they kids that are not able to have access to education in the state? If
that one, I do that one. Me, I know. Yes. Obaseki invested. Trained over to 11,000 or 12,000 teachers because I was part of that project. So that one, you can't, Obaseki worked. And obviously it was based on the precedents that possibly that Oshiomhole has set. So let's not even go deep into the states. I want us to focus on just that video, because if we start going deeper into the states, we'll probably just lose track of the conversation. But we've not touched on the same-sex one he mentioned. I know you touched on it a bit. What are your thoughts on it? Everybody's always careful when it comes to the same-sex points he made.
He made a comment to me that most Nigerians agree with. But because of being politically correct now, we don't acknowledge. We are all hiding under being politically correct, myself included. I'm not going to exonerate myself, so I refuse to comment. I shall plead the fifth.
Everybody's looking for American visa, but it's all good.
No, I don't need American visa.
I know you don't. But people are always careful when it comes to same-sex issues on that matter. What are your own thoughts on what he said?
Yes, I won't go deep into it anyways, you understand? But for me, like she said, Dami said, we live in a, we embody certain cultures, do you understand, in Africa. And then the good thing is that we are also in a country that gives you the freedom to travel out to Japan. So many people are Japan for, for better lifestyle, for their kids, education. And then I don't see the reason why someone should stay in a country that constrains them from being the best version of themselves. I'm that person that believes that in this life is too short. You can drop that at any minute. Please live your best life. And if you're in a space or an environment that doesn't let you do that, please leave that environment. That's
all right, let me drop that now because we have to bring in our guest. He's been hosting since Abuja for a while, so we need to move on to the next segment. We have with us, we discussed yesterday the face-off between the EFCC and the embattled former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. From their own analysis, our narratives, his followers believed we were too critical of him. So joining us right now is Barrister Jesutega Onokwasa from our Abuja studio, who's going to be joining the conversation. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Very good. I can hardly hear you here in the studio, but I know you can hear me. I know we're talking about Adams Oshiomhole earlier, but I had to switch over to you because I'm told that you were in the studio. I didn't want to keep you. So yes, yesterday we discussed the case of former governor of Kogi State with EFCC, and even in the newspapers today, we heard and read that your followers, or the followers of the former governor, were protesting, and they were dispersed by the police. From your end, you said you were a bit too critical of the former governor. How do you mean?
It's not. It's just a question of putting things in perspective. As far as demonstrations are concerned, we have freedom of expression as our rights, and that is a fundamental human right. Now, when it comes to this, what I would call shenanigans, with regards to the way the EFCC is basically hounding former Governor Yahaya Bello, I would say it has been basically a show of shame. You are the chairman of the EFCC, you call a press conference, you have charged someone to court. Then you now start litigating the same case in the court of public opinion. Then you now start displaying what on the face of the documents, assuming they are genuine documents, are payments of school fees. Payments. A receipt is evidence of what is stated on the receipt. So if you show me a receipt of payment of school fees, it's evidence of payment of school fees alone, assuming the receipt is even a genuine receipt. Now, if you are insinuating, alleging that someone stole money, and that is the money he used to pay the school fees, you have to bring evidence to show how he stole the money. You don't just start embarrassing people, tarnishing their reputation. Tomorrow now, somebody brings receipt with which you and your husband paid your children's school fees. And then he says, because you paid X amount of school fees, you are a thief. What arrant, utter nonsense. Show me where Mariah stole the money. Don't show me receipts that you paid.
So sir, let me come in because we have a lot of questions for you.
Go on,
and I'll come to the ladies very soon. There are so many angles to this. There are so many layers. Before we even get to the receipt or no receipt, or the repayment by the school or not, the fact that a sitting governor can transact in dollars in Nigeria, don't you think in itself is against the law? Or in itself is wrong or immorally wrong? It's more, okay, let me say morally wrong. Morally wrong.
No. Now, what's the law on transactions say? That is the law regarding legal tender. It's as follows. If I come to patronize you, Morayo, in Nigeria, if I come to your place of business and I offer you naira, you don't have a choice but to collect the naira from me. It doesn't mean that I cannot offer you dollar or pounds. That is the difference. Law is just what it is. Suppose I have what I have on me is dollar. I can tell you, Marayo, your product is 100,000 naira. Okay, take $100. If you accept, that's okay, that's lawful. However, you, Morayo, cannot say to me that I must pay you in dollar when I have naira. If I agree to pay you in dollar, by all means, but you cannot insist on it. That is the law.
I get a few questions for you. Go ahead.
That's the law, please.
So I was going to ask you, you know, in law it says you are innocent till you are proven guilty. Why has the...
Yeah, is that Yanni Kuti?
Yes, it is.
She is.
Hey, lovely. Well done. God
Thank
bless
you.
you. That's
Thank
Fela's
you.
daughter.
Amen. My claim to fame.
Yes, I dare you.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. You are presumed innocent till you have been proven guilty. Why has the governor refused to appear in court? Why has he refused to go to the EFCC to go and defend himself? Because we are not assuming he's innocent too. So, as an innocent person, I will go there and say, look, I'm innocent, but I will show myself. But he has refused. He's been running helter-skelter.
He's not Yanni, do you know one of the most succinct and profound expositions of human rights ever is one that was even elucidated by your dad. In a song, he said, human rights is my property. Now, it even goes beyond that. Our human rights, they are innate. That is, we are born with them. Then they are inalienable. They cannot be taken away from us. And we cannot even divest ourselves of those rights. Do you understand me? We have rights. When somebody goes to court, if somebody suspects you that you are trying to violate his human right, he is entitled to go to court. And the court is the highest authority in any country. Even a president is subject to the authority of the courts. When the court has made a pronouncement, the only person that can counter the pronouncement of the court is the court. Now, for some reason, me have not been in contact with former Governor Yaya Bello. For some reason, it is clear that he's a former governor, for God's sake. Let's not pretend that people don't know what they are doing. He is convinced that his people are intent not on fighting corruption. This is not a case of corruption fighting back. It's a case of corruption pretending to be fighting corruption. You call somebody on the phone, you don't even properly invite him. Then you tell him, come let me smuggle you through the back door into my office. The same EFCC that accused former governor, sitting governor Ododo of smuggling his predecessor from the predecessor's residence, when they mobilized there to make an illegal arrest against an order of court. Do you understand me? That is the same EFCC chairman. I don't know what happened to him that day. He just called the press conference, started. He didn't even sound like a lawyer at all. I was dumbfounded. He started confessing that somebody he calls a suspect, that he told the person,
Barrister,
let me smuggle you through the back door.
Barrister, you have not answered
what he said.
Barrister, you've not answered YK's question. Why is he not showing up in the FCC? And I don't think what the EFCC chairman said was smuggling. Use my own office stairs so that we are to preserve your dignity. So nobody will see you. I wasn't trying to smuggle. Preserve your dignity. Use my own private office stairs. That's what the invitation was. So the question YK was asking, why is Yahaya Bello not showing himself to every EFCC if he's indeed innocent? Simple question.
Beautiful. Now, in the first place, he was not invited. You don't invite someone via a phone call. You will invite someone with documentation. You write someone an invitation. Even police, that is, in fact, the most competent, the most reliable law enforcement is police. They know how to do these things. They will still send you, they even have something like a form. They come to your house, they give you the form. You are invited. You now have documentation. They write you, police writes you. How can EFCC be calling somebody on the phone that you are invited? Does then and through the back door, the man might be suspecting something else. Now, however, Morayo, he is in court. So even the notion of his running away from the law is absolute balderdash. If somebody briefs a lawyer and a lawyer is representing the person, in the eyes of the law, our profession, the legal profession, the person is in court, is not running from anybody. That's just like
okay, let me get to let me get a few questions in for you.
This moment is not running away from anybody.
One popular quote from Rosa Parks that I like, it says that you must never be fearful about what you're doing when it is right. And this brings me to ask, as an APC chieftain and as a barrister, it feels like what you are trying to tell us now is that the EFCC has overstepped their boundaries, that they do not have the capacity in which to carry out what they have done in terms of having to drag Yaya Bello back and forth. But in this climb now, I like the fact that you are from also the ruling party and the EFCC is operating under the ruling party. So should the masses be feeling that there's a discord amongst the EFCC and the government of the day? And is there no alienation between both parties to say, okay, this is what we want to do and this is how we want to carry it out, regardless of whatever or however anybody feels that it should be done?
In fairness to you, EFCC is independent of any party, has nothing to do with parties. So that's the system we're building right now. EFCC is independent and they can independently carry out what they're doing. So they're under their jurisdiction. They're constitutionally required to do what they're doing. There's no party. Let's do the party part of it. But I agree with your question. What are you saying concerning the EFCC? Are you saying that they have overstepped their boundaries from what they are constitutionally required to do concerning engaging Yahaya Bello?
The EFCC is presently, Marayo, the EFCC is currently in contempt of court. A court gave an order. Even in the court, if, for instance, the customary court in, I don't know let's say in Lagos Island, I think you are a Lagosian. Customary court, not high court. If it had given an order, it is still a court. Now, it will be obvious that that court ought not to assume jurisdiction in a matter like this. It does not mean you will still go and vacate that order. Not to talk of a high court. When the court has given an order, you cannot then mobilize and even imagine the manner in which they mobilize. Endangering the other. Is it only Yaya Bello that stays on that street? There are other people there. Do you understand me? They are in contempt of court. Then he charged a matter to court. Then he now called a press conference. He is now engaging in media trial. What the EFCC chairman doesn't seem to realize. You know, people get carried away when they get to high office. All these things, we have seen them before. And we know where everybody ended up. With all their shakara, their big...
Let me get a few more questions for you. Go ahead.
Mr. Barrister, do you find it worrisome that in a country where parents, business people are looking for foreign currencies, for dollars to actually do their business, to pay children's school fees abroad, and people are not able to have access to funds, that a sitting governor had access to that much funds to even pay for school fees way ahead of time? So, what is your take on that? I want to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I believe that's Sandra Easy. Am I mistaken? Hello?
Mr. Amaka Orakwe.
Many centuries ago. And this Amaka Orakwe. Go ahead.
Sorry. Now, there is no proof. You don't just show somebody. This is not how we operate in law. We don't practice law like quacks. We are professionals. You don't show me receipts and you say someone is changing dollar. What's my business? Is Olukoyede a court? Olukoyede does not even have the capacity of a customary court. So all that one is absolute nonsense to a lawyer. You don't show me receipt and you say somebody went to change dollar in BDC. Have you convicted the person? I'm not interested in that. However, let me just approach it intellectually. That somebody went to change dollar, and so what? Good God. And so what? I don't think there's any one of us here who has I-earn dollars regularly. If somebody wants to pay me dollar, I'm going to reject the dollar. The more forex you even have in your economy, the better for the economy. Because it means more forex is chasing your local currency. Then your currency starts rising up, and the value of forex, if it's a dollar, if it's pounds, if it's a euro, it keeps going down. So now, as for whether Yaya converted money to dollar and so on, you will charge him to court. He will have the right to defend himself. Don't call a press conference and start talking not like a lawyer, for God's sake. The sort of thing that somebody will expect you to use to ambush Bello in court is what you are. If I was a superstitious person, I'm a Catholic. If I was a superstitious person, I would say that Yaya is just pressing a remote, and Olukoyede keeps deliberately trying to ruin the case.
One second, barrister. Let me get a follow-up question.
A follow-up question on what I said. So the school accepted receiving the money from him, and they have returned the money received. And you're talking about part of the money, and you said that there's no receipts, right, for the payment of this school fees. In your capacity as a lawyer, the acceptance by the school that Yaya Bello paid that money and they have returned part of it, and they're willing to return the rest, what does that constitute? Please, can you educate us on that?
Amaka is immaterial. If you feel that if the EFCC feels that is an issue, it is not to be litigated on your view. It's not to be litigated on what's our flagship program, Journalist Hangout. It's not to be litigated on Politics Today or Politics Tonight. It is to be litigated in a court of law. All of us are subject to court. Do you know what Yaya will say about it if he was charged to court on that basis? I can just make up any argument now. It's like this one about Ododo going to smuggle somebody. You say you saw his vehicle there. Did you see Ododo smuggling somebody? That's not how we practice law. Do you even know whether Yaya Bello was in the house? Then I can say, oh, I saw Amaka so and so place. To what issue does that go? You will have to be given an opportunity to defend yourself. And as of this moment, Yaya Bello is in court. He is represented by learned counsel. What right does tomorrow now EFCC will just say, the chairman will say he called me on the phone?
Barrister, let me ask you this question, and I hope you can hear me. Barrister, the fundamental questions many Nigerians are asking: how does a sitting governor, what business, what company, what manufacturing entity does he have that he has over $800,000 to pay children's school fees in advance? As you're a sitting governor, even after your office, what kind of industry did he build in Kogi State? What kind of factory is he running? What kind of transactions is he doing that earned him $800,000 to pay children's school fees? Nigerians who he has led within, especially within Kogi State, want to know.
Okay, Morayo, what my own response to that is one. That is, you are assuming that this allegation of $800,000 is true. I am a lawyer. It has not been proved. You will have to subject Yaya Bello to trial to prove that, to establish that first. We can't traffic in rumors. Somebody can say this one is a prostitute, this one went to sleep with this one went to chase this. Who cares? Prove it. Don't tarnish people's reputation. However, if it's a question of any money, do I know your income? Do you know my income? You don't know. You don't. I'm not Yaya Bello's lawyer. Yaya Bello is my party man. And I deliberately insist on being protective towards him. Because it is, I know things you would not know. We are all in the same party. All these things, they are coming from people within our party. There's some who decamped and ran election against Usman Ododo. So it's Muritala Ajaka, who was our former deputy publicity secretary, who now decamped from us, went to SDP, that ran election against Ododo and was defeated by Ododo. His own lawyer, J.S. Kutepa, SAN, is the same lawyer that EFCC hired to be tormenting, to be...
So you're inferring political innuendos. Wait, let me let YK jump in here for a second.
Yes, because
allegations.
there was a case... excuse me, barrister. Barrister.
Let us talk.
There was a case against... There was a case against the ex-governor before he left office. 84 billion. We were all heard about it. EFCC had said, we are going to ask you to come once your immunity is over. So there was that case already before all these new ones. So there was that 84 billion before. Yeah. I remember there was a case against Fayose.
Yeah.
Before it, the day that Fayose removed the toga of governor, he reported himself
to the EFCC described EFCC, here I come.
Yes. And today he's a free man. We don't know whether he has court case, but today he's walking around free. So integrity would have made, it would have smelt of integrity if the former governor had done that. Because already they had said there was a case against him.
Yanni, can I respond, Yanni? Now, the EFCC wrote to Ayo Fayose. They did not write to Yaya Bello. I don't think they offered. I don't think the EFCC chairman at that time offered to smuggle Ayo Fayose through the back door. This one, by his own admission, he said he will smuggle Yaya Bello through the back door. That's what he said himself. I'm not the one saying it. He said it at the press conference. So there is a big difference. They invited Fayose. They did not invite Yaya Bello. Now, if you come to this so-called allegation of 80-something billion, it is probably the most ridiculous part of this issue. Because the EFCC first accused him of embezzling 82 billion, or 80.2 billion, before he even became a governor. Then they amended the charges, and they were saying, alleging that he embezzled 82 billion within 1 month of becoming a governor. What is the budget, the total budget in a year of Kogi State? The richest state in Nigeria, in overall terms, is Lagos. The richest state in per capita terms is Delta State. Do you know how difficult it will be for the most experienced thief of a governor to remove 80 billion from a state? Is he not paying salaries? Is he not servicing debts? It sounds, unless you don't have experience of governance. I've been unnecessary to a governor.
I have to pause you for a second. I'm told that there's technical issues. I have to go on a short break and I'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Unfortunately, we run out of time, but Barrister, are you still there? Can you hear me?
I am.
I think I have just time for one more question. And I think Amaka was referring to the way you said that, do we know his income? Because the governor's income is quite public. And the truth is that every governor is supposed to declare before they become governors to the Code of Conduct Bureau to let us know what you have. So that's what Nigerians are asking, where did he get that kind of money from as governor? But I think...
Yes,
right.
Now, I don't know Yaya's income before he became a governor. I don't know his business. If you are disputing somebody's income, it's not for the person to explain his income. It is for you to prove that he's spending. Do we know what is all this hypocrisy? Should we probe Olanipekun Olukoyode? Let us go and check the school fees he has been paying, whether it's not more than his salary. Good God, what is all this talk? Do you know my income? You don't have the slightest idea what's my income.
Barrister, Barrister, do you understand? Barrister, do you understand that many Nigerians, they are appalled how lawyers use various technicalities to cover malfeasance in our country?
Excuse me. Somebody who was able to run election as a governor, was he a street cleaner before? Then tomorrow, if I decide to contest as for governorship or for Senate or for president, then I look like a beggar. I'm a non-entity. Was I not any income before? Have I not been paying my children's school fees? Have I not been taking care of do you know why people voted for I'm from Delta State. Everybody in Delta State voted for the majority of people voted for Achiwaju. In my own constituency, my father's village, all of them voted for Achiwaju because of me. They said, even though they wanted to vote for Peter Obi, because of what our Onukwasa has been taking care of us, they will vote for Achiwaju. That let's remove shame from his eye. Have I not been taking care of people? It's as if Yaya was begging on the street before he became a governor. So I don't. If you feel he ate money, no problem. Prove it. That's what we do. Tomorrow I see.
So we have barrister.
Morayo used to pay school fees. Then I say Morayo is a thief. She has been stealing money from TBC. What sort of nonsense is that?
Thing goes back to the court. And you're right, 100%. Let us prove it. But what I said earlier, do you think many Nigerians are quite appalled that where we are as a country, one of our problems is the fact that we have lawyers who use quite a bit of technicalities to cover malfeasance in our country. Behaviors of politicians, bad behaviors. You use technicalities of laws, can you they're proving one thing, things that people can see glaringly many times that are illegal and wrong. But lawyers find a way to, wiggle their way through it or out of it. So do you think that's part of our problem in this case?
Are you a lawyer for the case?
Not. He already mentioned he's deliberately.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Insisting on supporting.
Not at all. Do you know how you should be aware of how the adversarial trial works? You have another lawyer prosecuting somebody. Now, in order for that trial to be just, to be fair, to be transparent, you need another lawyer defending the person this other lawyer is prosecuting. Now it is adversarial, okay? It's like you take the trial of our Lord Jesus Christ. You bring him in the middle of the night. This person introduces hearsay evidence. This person do this. This person says, I saw him do that. He said he will destroy the temple. Who is interested? That's hearsay evidence. Everybody is entitled to legal representation.
Okay.
Let's go to court. You are a lawyer, Olukoyede. Go to court and vacate an order.
Okay.
Go to court and properly prosecute somebody and not disgrace our profession by calling a press conference. You will turn a bunch of journalists into a jury.
Okay.
To sit over judgment over a citizen.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We have to let you go
don't
at
do
this
that
time.
for God's sake.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on the show. We have to wrap up. We'll be speaking with Barrister Jesutega Onokwasa from Abuja Studio. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your own perspective on this EFCC versus Yahaya Bello case. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.